A man's been found guilty of supplying a gun to Mark Duggan, the man whose death at the hands of police sparks the London riots. Kevin Hutchinson-Foster was convicted today after a retrial. He passed the gun to Duggan just 15 minutes before he was shot dead. We have this report from Ron K. Phillips.
The officers who were involved in the undercover operation, minutes after Mark Duggan was fatally shot. The guilty verdict means the spark that led to this moment can now be revealed. The shooting of Mark Duggan resulted in the worst rioting seen on mainland Britain for more than 30 years. Rioting which began yards from where he was killed and spread to several cities throughout the country. The trial centred on this man, accused of supplying this gun to Mark Duggan and other offences.
Kevin Hutchinson-Foster has today been found guilty of supplying a firearm to Mark Duggan. This is in addition to the two other offences he has already pleaded guilty to, namely assault and possession of a firearm with intent to cause fear.
The jury was told Duggan was under police surveillance and on August the 4th last year was followed as he took a minicab to this street in East London. The cab was then followed to Tottenham, where the undercover team executed a hard stop. Giving evidence behind a screen, the officer said Duggan sprung out of the cab and drew the gun. Known only as V53, the officer who fired said, "The only way I can describe this is as an oh moment." The father of two had been shot twice in the chest. Wrapped in a black sock, the loaded gun was found 5 metres away. Not one of the officers could account for how the gun flew over these railings and landed near bushes. Just 15 minutes had passed since the moment Kevin Hutchinson-Foster had handed over that shoebox and Mark Duggan lay here dying. Duggan's fingerprints were found on the shoebox, but neither his prints nor DNA were on the gun itself. It transpired that police intercepted him because they feared he'd armed himself to take revenge for the killing of a close friend. But it was not the officers or their accounts which the jury were being asked to consider. Their job was to decide if Hutchinson-Foster handed over the gun. They believed he did. It will be for the long-awaited inquest into Mark Duggan's death later this year to unravel the tragic turn of events which unfolded that day. Ron K. Phillips, ITV News.
A charity for homeless people